will defeat you!
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. After we pulled LR Beast Gohan the other day, it's time to use him, it's time to try him out. I've seen a lot of people complain about this guy, and as I said when I first saw the details, yes, was I a little bit disappointed there was a lack of Beast Gohan? Yes. Only a little bit. Did I wish he could do a bit more? Yes. Do I wish he had a bit better defense? 100%. But he's still a solid unit. He's still within the top 10. However, I do believe with a few more releases, he'll probably slowly fade out of the top 10. But he's still a solid unit, and we're going to try him here today. So let me know what you think of him down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. All the support is very much appreciated. And I did also pull the pan. I done a multi off camera on Piccolo's banner trying to pull him. Didn't pull him. Managed to pull the pan. So we've got the good support with him as well. And this is not a bad turn one. I mean, we do have the extra attack and defense plus 100% because of the entrance animation, and we do have the support from Pan as well. So we are starting at a 486k attack stat, 219k defense, pre-super, and of course all at 55% in the dupe system. But I'm looking forward to this. As I said, one of the main reasons why I wanted this Beast Gohan was 6.1 with support turn 1 and only 3 links active. Like, yes, he does have support, but 6.1 with 3 links active at 55% is very good for a turn 1. Like, very good for a turn 1. But as I was saying, one of the major reasons why I actually really wanted Beast Gohan was his animations are still amazing. His animations are still probably some of, if not the best in the game. And I couldn't miss out on them. Like, I could not miss out on them. Like, they are so good. By the way, Piccolo is honestly ridiculously good. Piccolo is ridiculously good. I really wish I got him as well, but unfortunately didn't manage to get him, but he's ridiculously good. But in terms of Gohan's kit, his leader skill is very, very good. I like it a lot. Superheroes, it's not the biggest category, but it has some of the better units. Like, it has some of the better units in the game on the team. You know, you're looking at the Gammas, you're looking at God Goku, you're looking at the Year 7 gods, just to name a few. Piccolo as well. Those are some of the best units in the game. Elite Hybrid Saiyans with Ki plus 3, HP and attack and defense plus 170, and then of course supplies the additional HP attack and defense plus 30% for characters that also belong to the Bond of Parent and Child category or movie heroes as well. So a very, very good 200% lead, very good 170 leads as well, and a good widespread of some of the better units in the game to go with him. Now, this is the usual rotation you're probably going to be seeing when you use this Gohan, is going to be him with Ultimate Gohan. Now, before you actually transform Tech Ultimate Gohan, they only share 2 links. So, he's not going to be performing at his very best. He's not going to be doing as good as, of course, as he can do. I mean, he does actually link quite solidly with some of the better units in the game, which, of course, because of teams like Bond of Parent and Child, if you also do have LR Vegeta and Trunks, you know, because this Gohan does go on a lot of the better categories in the game. Like, as you can see here, superheroes, Bond of Parent and Child, movie heroes, Kamehameha, Miraculous Awakening. You can link him with some of the better units in the game, and he does share 4 links with quite a few of the better units, being Birdku, LRSSJ4s, also Gogeta as well, because their links don't change. He also shares 4 links with the likes of Tech Gogeta, Strength Vegito, LR Namitku. I mean, he does share some solid links with them, but as I said, the main setup you're going to be going for is going to be him with the Tech Ultimate Gohan, which they will share 5 links once you transform this guy. But of course, when you're doing Red Zone, you are going to want to stack him up a bit. Of course, he does have his guard, but you are going to want to stack him up a bit before you do decide to transform him. You don't want to rush it. So we are still getting the support from Pan. I am going to leave him in slot 1 just because he does have his guard, of course. From the entrance animation, he does have the attack and defense plus 100% and the guard for 3 turns as well, which is going to be very handy at kind of, you know, having him build up during those 3 turns without having that much risk while having some pretty good defense, and also, of course, more importantly, the actual guard, so he can kind of sit in slot 1, especially while this Tech Ultimate Gohan is also building up. We are on a 580k attack stat and 284k defense, which is great. We are getting a 24 key super off as well, which is very nice. And let's see what Gohan's putting out here. But of course, on 12 key, does greatly raise attack by 50% and raise defense by 30%. 7.5 mil, man. That's crazy. That is crazy. Especially because we got him enough key for him to get the built-in... Actually, no. Especially because he can also potentially get an additional super off as well. Like, that's crazy. And he's not even fully built up yet. But on 12 key, does greatly raise attack by 50%, raise defense by 30% for 1 turn, cause colossal damage with medium chance of stunning. Of course, where you can stun, that is also very useful to have. On 18 key, he'll greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause mega colossal damage to the enemy and lowers attack and defense. Of course, the way you want it is you want to get enough key, hit the 18 key, get the 50% attack and defense raise, get the additional, and then get, more importantly, yes, you do get the 50% raise on attack, but the extra 30% on his defense as well, just so he's a little bit more tighter, just so he's a little bit more solid when it does come to the likes of harder content in the game, specifically being red zone. That's why I do say I wish he'd done a little bit more. I wish he did have a little bit more defense, but you know, once he does hit his 18 key and then hit the additional, his defense is in a good enough spot. Like, you're probably talking like 700k plus. His defense is in a good enough spot at 55% for him to be able to tank pretty much almost every single basic in red zone. It's just the supers can do a lot of damage to him if you do not have an item active, which kind of applies to a lot of units in the game. But I think because of a lot of people's expectations, the hype that LR Beast Gohan was carrying coming into Dokkan for the first time, and I'm a victim to this as well. I wanted him to be up there as like top 3 unit in the game, if not top 1 or 2. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. But even so, he can still tank basics, as I said, from pretty much the majority of red zone bosses in the game. It's just a lot of the super attacks, Gohan will take quite a bit of damage without a Whis active. You know, if you do have dupes in him and you hit an additional, you know, there are a few super attacks he can tank, but there's like also a couple like probably Broly and Cooler Core that he will still take quite a bit of damage again without an item active. So we've got Tech Ultimate Gohan transformed. We're on turn 6, which I'm pretty sure means... Actually, no, this may be our last turn of guard. I mean, we'll find out in a minute. And our last turn of the attack and defense plus 100%. But at the start of turn, Gohan is getting attack and defense plus 150. He's getting the additional key plus 1 per keys for obtained, which I'm not going to lie, because of how many, or the lack of key links he has, like he literally just has shocking speed. Because of the lack of key links he has, that is going to be very handy at kind of consistently getting super attacks off of him. However, and I've seen clips of this, if ore placement really isn't in your favor, like really isn't in your favor, there'll be sometimes you actually struggle to get a super attack off with them, let alone an 18 key. So yes, the additional key plus 1 you get per keys for obtained is helpful at getting the 18 key off consistently. However, if you're not, or if the ore placement is very unkind to you, some scenarios it may be a struggle to just super attack with Gohan, which can put you in a pretty dangerous spot, considering you need him to super attack, you need him to 18 key, so you can get that 50% attack and defense raise. So that is going to be one of the major problems when it comes to Gohan, is the lack of key links he does have. We are on a 600k super attack and 260k defense, now that we have some more links active. We haven't even supered yet. So this rotation is also a very nice setup, again, especially if you are getting enough key for both Tech Ultimate Gohan and also... Okay, no, we've lost the guard. Okay, so we've lost the attack and defense plus 100%. 7.2 million without it though, and no support is still very good again at 55%. This is one thing that I said. This Gohan, yes, wish he did more. Yes, wish he had more defense, but damage, I mean, especially because of the lack of key links, because he mainly has attack links. Oh, we even got a 55% additional off. That's dope. But the one thing this Gohan is not lacking on whatsoever is damage. Like, this guy is going to hit hard at 55%, 69%, 79%, or completely rainbow. He's going to be hitting hard. He also gets an additional attack and defense plus 30% of each super attack performed, up to 150, which of course, with the built-in additional, which has a 70% chance, a great chance of becoming a super attack when ki is 20 or more, of course, getting an extra attack and defense built up to 150 is going to be a lot easier to do because of the built-in additional. Also, if you pull dupes, you're going to be able to do that even quicker. And if you pull a dupe, or if you get very lucky in the dupe system when it comes to getting the built-in additional off at 55%, especially because in some scenarios, as I said, if ki placement isn't in your favor whatsoever, there will be some times where you probably struggle to get your ki at 20 or more. Like, there'll be some times where you may not super attack with Gohan, let alone get your ki to 20 or more to get that 70% chance of launching an additional super attack. I think because of the ki +1 perk type he's free obtained, and then because of his lack of ki links, and how because of orb placement, as I said, in some scenarios you may struggle for ki for Gohan, I do really feel like the additional should have been guaranteed. Like, don't get me wrong, 70% chance is great, and I would have been completely fine with it. Like, this is just a minor qualm with myself, or for me. I think if Gohan had a couple more ki links, or just like one like Saiyan lineage or something, then that would be fine. But because Gohan literally has one ki link, and if ki placement is really bad for you that turn, you may struggle to get him ki. I do feel like the additional should have been guaranteed rather than 70% chance. But if Gohan did get extra ki elsewhere, or did have an extra ki link, I would be completely fine with the 70% chance of launching an additional super attack, because that is good. It's still very good. But I think, as I said, in some scenarios where you struggle for ki with him, I do feel like he probably should have had some ki elsewhere, if not an extra ki link. He is up to a 791k attack stat, 342k defense, which again, this is all at 55%. And this is some scenarios not as bad, but some scenarios where you're going to struggle for ki. Like, we are nowhere near getting the 20 ki or more, which means we're not going to get the additional off, which does really help him a lot defensively, and will help him a lot defensively when it comes to the like of red zone. And more importantly, we'll end up missing out on that 50% defense raise, which, as I said, he really does need, especially when it comes to red zone. So that is the only qualm I really have with this Gohan, if we're going off his actual kit and not, for example, you know, I wish we got to use Beast, which of course I do and a lot of us do, but if I'm actually critiquing his kit that he has, the key is it can be an issue, especially in harder content like red zone, where you really need that 50% defense raise. But still, 6.9 and 7 million on 12 keys alone is still very good. Like, very good. Not to mention this rotation we have set up as well with Tech Ultimate Gohan and, of course, Beast Gohan. Very good setup. Because while you're running through red zone, you know, while you're needing to build up the Tech Ultimate Gohan, he can sit in slot 2, stacking up. You know, if you have dupes, he can stack up a bit quicker. He also has guard anyway, so you don't really have to worry about him too much. But then you got, you know, Beast Gohan in slot 1 with his guaranteed guard, which you're gonna want to utilize for 3 turns. Then once the Tech 1's built up, he's ready to go, with his defense in a good enough spot where you can transform him, combined with his guard. You transform him, move him into slot 1. By this point, LR Beast Gohan's probably lost his guard, which means you move him into slot 2. And then, you know, Tech Ultimate Gohan's completely fine in slot 1. He's out here doing what he needs to be doing, which is tank everything. And then Beast Gohan can chill in slot 2. So it's a very good setup and a very good rotation and a very good team that could be surrounded by good units. You know, you've got Orange Piccolo, you've got both the Gammas, you've also got the likes of, you know, as I already mentioned, the Year 7 gods, God Goku as well. You've got some very good units to go in this category with them as well. And I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of it. But we should have Gohan fully brought up by now. I mean, look at those numbers, man. This is at 55%. So he should be fully brought up by now. And we have the support from Pan. We're on a 949k attack stat not turn 1, but pre-super. 411k defense before we've even super attacked. Do we get any extra links by putting them in the middle? No, we don't. We leave them in slot 1. We are going to get the 18 key off as well, which is good. We are going to get 20 key or more, which is also very nice, which means we will have that 70% chance to super. We are getting a Dokkan attack off. Look at his attack stat at the bottom. I'm pretty sure that's 18 million, which is insane. I'm pretty sure that is 18 million. Okay, no, it's actually 11 million, but that's 55%. At 55% with support, Beast Gohan is putting out just under a 12, literally just under a 12 million attack stat. And he's just done 20 million damage with no crit. Honestly, his damage output is generally insane. Like, he's still a very good unit. Do not get me wrong, he's still a very good unit. That's for certain. But to round out his passive, he does get attacks effective against all types when activating the active skill or when ki is 24. Just like getting the additional with 20 ki or more, there'll be some scenarios where you do struggle to get him enough ki to get that. So getting his attacks effective against all types, while very useful considering how much damage he can do, as I said, there will be scenarios where you won't get it active, you won't get it off. Just because if orb placement isn't kind to you, it is a struggle to get him enough ki. So it'll probably be more often than not you don't get the 24 ki and you won't get the attacks effective against all types, sorry. Which is a huge shame. And again, that's kind of, if I'm critiquing his kit and moving expectations and kind of what I wanted to the side, that's my only qualm with Gohan. Yes, I would have liked him to be a bit more, you know, defensively solid, but it's his ki. You're probably, as I said, going to miss out on that 24 ki or more, having your attacks effective against all types. You're probably going to be missing that out on a lot. And some of the time, maybe not all the time, some of the time, missing out on the 70% chance to get the additional super off when ki is 20 or more. Just because in some scenarios, you're not always going to get the ki placement you need. And then, of course, he has the high chance, the 50% chance of nullifying ki blast super attacks directed at the character, which I think is a very good thing to have in his passive, considering, as a defensively in red zone, he can tank a lot of the basics. Considering in some scenarios he may struggle for ki at some points, some basics may hit him quite hard, but a lot of the super attacks specifically are still going to hit Gohan quite hard. So him having a 50% chance to nullify ki blast super attacks is very, very useful, considering defensively some of those supers may hit him for quite a bit of damage. So I am a fan of that, but it still is only a 50% chance, which does mean if the coin flip doesn't go in your favor, you know, if it doesn't happen, he will be getting absolutely clapped, unless of course you take precaution and you do decide to use a Whis. But now it's time to rock out with the special beam cannon. Probably the best animation in the entire game. Like, it's probably the best animation in the entire game. Let's activate it. Let's watch Gohan go wild.
Guess it's my turn. Special beam cannon!
Honestly, as I said, his animations have to be the best in the whole game. And of course, to activate his active skill, it can be activated when all allies attacking in the same turn, or superheroes category allies starting from the 3rd turn, which is very good, or when facing only one enemy starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle, which is not bad, especially because it's an either or condition. And as I said, yeah, in terms of active skill in animations, they have to be probably some of the best in the game. But I'm going to do one more turn just to see what he's putting out without pan support fully built up. We're looking at a 791k attack stat pre-super, 342k defense pre-super. And I have to say in conclusion, he's still a good unit. He's still very, very solid. There's just a few asterisks. As I said, putting aside personal opinion and personal expectations of what we wanted for Beast Gohan, 10 million, by the way, no support, 55% is generally ridiculous. And we're going to get the additional potentially as well. But yeah, in terms of critiques, not enough ki. Like, I kind of wish he had a bit more guaranteed ki, whether that was through like a Saiyan lineage ki link or something in his passive, like a bit more. Sometimes ki it's going to be a struggle with him with orb placement. That's one of my major qualms. And then because of ki, it ends up becoming a domino effect where it stops you getting the 20 ki or more, where you get that additional, which you don't desperately need, but it does help him tank basics a lot better as well in red zone, especially against some of the harder hitting red zone bosses. So sometimes you may miss out on the additional, and of course that hurts a lot, especially if you don't have dupes, where you're less likely to get an additional super. And then of course the 24 key or more, or the 24 key may be quite a bit of struggle, where you have attacks effective against all types. But of course you will get that active when using his active skill as well, which of course does have the disable enemy action, which is always very, very useful as well. But the main problem with Gohan is, wish he was a little bit better defensively, but the main issue is of course, and can be, key. By the way, I'm still very, very ill, but I'm trying to power through. We got there in the end, but he's still a good unit. He's still very, very solid, but it wouldn't surprise me if very soon he does slightly fade out of the top 10, whereas Piccolo remains within, you know, being one of the best units in the game. But he's still very good, and this is at 55%, so I'm still very impressed. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace!